Nutcracker Podcast.
Hi, you guys. Did you know that since 2012, kids are actually more financially educated than ever before? I didn't as well, but I met Louise here. She founded GoHenry, which is an amazing tool that actually helps children be more financially educated. Louise, I wish I was a kid nowadays because at that time I had no idea what I'm doing. And kids usually have a lot of money, right? They get money for their birthdays, parties, and so on. And they have no absolutely idea what to do. Usually the parents manage that. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
To have you. Yeah, you founded GoHenry, as I mentioned, in 2012. Can you tell me more about it? How did you come up with the idea? What is GoHenry?
Do you know, it was actually our 13th anniversary yesterday.
Oh,
so,
congratulations.
I may have raised a glass of Portuguese wine to celebrate last night. I don't come from a banking background or an educational background. My career started in e-com, but I am the mum of two kids. They're all grown up now, but when they were little, they both got bought iPods for a Christmas present by my brother, and I'd given them the login to my iTunes account.
Yeah.
And they were downloading money without a second thought, and certainly without any understanding that they were spending money. And as a parent, I was trying to figure out, how do I teach them that? And then the more parents I spoke to, all these stories came out. Children who were running up bills on gaming platforms, buying things on eBay. And there was it was mad. There was nothing out there we could find that would allow a parent to let a child do it with their own money, but put some kind of limits and safety and protection around it. So that was the problem that I set out to solve, the nut I set out to crack.
The nut.
And fast forward 13 years. There are nearly 700 of us in the group across the UK. We have about 6.5 million paying subscribers around the world. We operate across the UK, the US, France, Spain, and Italy. And the whole thrust of it is still the same. It's a Visa debit card with parental controls on it.
Of course.
Kids can learn to earn, save, spend, and even invest, all through GoHenry.
Amazing. And I know it's like for kids from 6 to 18, right? And their parents as well. So I guess those are your customers, the kids and the parents together, right?
Yeah.
And what do the parents do actually? The kids are being educated and so on. What do the parents do?
Well, I met a lady a couple of nights ago, just walked up to me and said, "You are costing me money." So I think anyone with kids knows kids are always wanting to buy stuff.
Yeah.
What parents do, they open the account.
Okay.
So they are the legal account holder.
Okay.
But the child has their own app as well. And that app looks different depending on whether they're 6 or 7, or you can imagine 14, 15, different things appeal. So the app looks different. The language we use is different. But parents can automatically pay pocket money. They can move money across if a child needs it quickly. They can, when it comes around to birthdays or Christmas, and the inevitable question from the relatives about what would the child like for birthday or Christmas, they can send out the wish lists. They can invite the family in to support the child's educational journey through money, all kinds of things.
Yeah.
So it's really a tool that lets parents teach their kids about money, and most importantly, probably trigger conversations in the home about money and why it matters, how it works, the fact that you have to earn it first before you can spend it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. That's amazing. A really inspirational story. And I think the impact is even bigger than that. I love it. Can you tell me, like you've mentioned 13 years anniversary. Congratulations on that. I wish you many, many more. What are the challenges, right? What is the biggest nut to crack when you start and when you scale and when you grow like that?
So many. There have been so many over the years, but I think probably, although pretty much everywhere in the world has the concept of pocket money for kids, or in America they call it allowance, the nuances between the different cultures in how they talk about money, if they talk about money normally in the home, when they talk about money with kids, and even things like how we've had to adapt some of our marketing to reach the right customers. Yeah, so cultures, money is universal, but cultures have all their own nuances. And yeah, I mean, we launched in the States in 2018.
Okay.
And used some of the advertising, the calls to action that worked brilliantly for us in the UK, obviously changing the language slightly to reflect American culture, but basically the same calls to action brought us completely different customer demographics. It was really, really interesting. And so, like most companies, we had to test and refine and test and refine to find the way to get customers who were the right ones.
Yeah. All right. That's really an interesting challenge, which I can connect to, but in a different way. You know, Native Teams has like a remote work culture, and we kind of had to learn how people react to feedback, how people work based on their culture. How did you manage to find this solution? Were you hiring locals? How was that going? Like, what is the solution to that challenge?
Yeah, I mean, we have teams. The main teams, we probably a couple of hundred people in the UK, 50 people based in Paris, but operating across France, Spain, and Italy. Probably 300 and something in the States, and then scattered people around the world. You know, individuals in all sorts of countries around the world. I always go back to mission. You know, we are a mission-led business. We're a purpose-led business. Our mission is to make every kid smart with money, and anchoring back to that and finding the right ways to engage with the different cultures within our own teams around the world, but anchoring them to that mission. I believe we've done it successfully. You'd have to ask some of the team, but you know, I think that's really front and first and foremost in how we do it. Yeah.
That's very inspirational to hear that your North Star is actually your mission, right?
Yeah.
And that's how, I guess that's how you make decisions when you do like changes, product marketing and so on, which I admire that really. Can you tell me some examples like how money culture is different in the countries where you work, like so the audience can understand how that differs?
Yeah, yes. Gosh, let me think of a couple of examples. So in the US, I mentioned different calls to action, bringing in the right demographic of customers. But in the US, they're far more likely to pay what in the UK we call pocket money, they call allowance, far more likely to pay that monthly, particularly for older kids. So when we first launched in the States, we didn't have the option to pay monthly. Pay the kids their allowance monthly. So we adapted to that. Another one would be in Italy and Spain in particular. We get very, very few customers who sign up their 6-year-old. The culture is more conservative around when it's the right time to introduce a child to the concepts of money. So we find that they tend to start a little bit later, maybe 8 or 9, whereas in the UK, it's 6, 7.
6, 7, yeah, that's an interesting
and the US,
fact.
6,
yeah,
7.
That's really interesting, right? Okay, amazing. Can you tell me what is it that you do to keep Henry to be the be GoHenry? Since I know like how things change, you know, culture change, people change, and so on. What is it that you do to keep it the way you want it to be? Like, what intentional strategies do you do there?
I get 2 answers. One's going to be boring because it's almost what I said earlier. So 2 answers. One is I think I've learnt over the years to figure out what you must, as you start to delegate, you have teams, you know, we've now got directors and exec team, different country managers. It's to learn what to let go of completely and trust the brilliant people you've hired to do a brilliant job, to do their brilliant jobs, but to keep hold of what really, really matters, which for me is the mission and the strategy. And it's hard. Most founders are control freaks by nature. I know I am. I work really hard at not being, but I am. And learning to let go is tough. And I've done it sometimes successfully and sometimes not successfully at all over the years. But yeah, learning what to keep absolutely firm hold of, strategy, mission, let the rest go and let your teams do it, steer it, but let them do it. Super important. And then the other half is, you grab hold of the mission and you stay true to it. A lot of companies talk about being customer first.
Yeah.
The phrase we use in the company is not customer first, because I think that can be a little bit glib and hard for people to interpret. We say, whenever we've got a big decision, what's best for the customer?
I love that.
It might not be what's commercially best for us. It often isn't. But if you truly believe, put your customer first, do what's best for the customer, then logic says they stay with you, and therefore all the other outcomes sort themselves out.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how often asking that question solves a great big debate that's been going on. Should we go down path A? Should we go down path B? What's right for the customer?
What's right for the customer,
answers that question.
I love that. Thank you very much, Louise.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. I think you have an amazing product and amazing customers as well, and so on. How do you measure success would be my last question. What is the feedback that you get from the parents or the kids? Do you speak with the kids as your customers?
All the time.
You do?
All the time.
That must be very fun.
With parental permission.
Of course.
I say hurriedly, imagining our UK GC sitting on my shoulder going, with permission. Yeah, obviously with parental permission.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm going to give you two answers. It is talking to customers. It's some of the stories that they just volunteer. Quite often they will write in and tell us how it's changed their kids' behavior. The moments where they write in and say it's changed their behavior as a parent.
Yeah.
And the way they think about money. Maybe their child started saving, they've never saved in their life before, or investing. And the parent watches the child doing it and is inspired to start saving also. That's when you're making a difference. And that's, that really, really matters. Really, really matters. And I've completely forgotten the other point I was going to make. So we'll have to skip that one.
Yeah, no worries. Well, thank you very much for being today with me here.
Yeah.
I think you have a great product. You make such a great impact on the world, because teaching children about finances is not something that we hear about every day. And I wish I had that when I was a kid, Mom.
So do I.
Would have been way, way better. Yeah, but thank you very much for sharing your authentic story with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go global, not nuts.